Yes, and we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But it's good evening from Nigeria. It's 7 p.m. here in Nigeria. And thank you for joining us. I want to appreciate those that will be catching the replay too. Thank you so much. So if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Adiola Solushe. I'm a Christian. I'm a mom of two girls. I'm a wife. I used to work for the federal government of my country. I worked for 14 years. But now I'm a retired stay-at-home mom and I run my business fully by the side. So today I have an important guest. It's I'm bringing a dad, a man. Most of the time you see women, but today I'm bringing a man and all the way from Canada. Thank you so much, Kit, for joining us. I know we're going to have an amazing time, so thank you. So we jump right ahead, and I'll allow my guest to introduce himself, and we take it up from there. So the floor is yours.
Hi, Adela. I think I've got your name right. I'm not sure. I'm screwing it up a little bit,
It's
but I'm
okay.
Keith Holla. I'm Keith Holla from Alberta, Canada, as Della said, and I started in this business quite some time ago, but I ended up getting out of it for a little bit because of where I was at in my life. I'm a father of two, and yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm just getting going on in this business, trying to make it go forward.
Thank you so much, and then thanks for joining me. And you said something, that you started the business, and then you needed to do some things, and then you took a step back. That's the beauty of this business. Nobody's pressuring you. You don't have like deliverables. You don't have quota or target, to be met. So you run your own business at your own pace. That's a good and beautiful thing about this business. Okay, so I know you used to work in the oil and gas um, sector. You're an expert in that field. How was your life like when you were working in the oil and gas the sector, and what okay let me how was your life like that? So let me break down the question. So what was your life like as an oil and gas expert?
Well, my life was very busy. I worked outside of Canada for over 20 years. I worked in Cuba, and I went down there for the first time in 2000, and it was only supposed to be for a short amount of time, but it ended up actually turning into over 20 years. And during that time, I met a Cuban lady and married her. And as I mentioned before, we have two boys, and it was totally hectic for me. The oil and gas, and especially what I specifically did in the industry, I was on the drilling side of it, directional drilling, and so I would go down to Cuba for about 5.5 months at a time, and come back to Canada for 3 weeks. And my days in Cuba, most of the time was 10 to 12 hour days working, and lots of times it was 7 days a week. That's what I was doing, and it was totally hectic. And then when I came back to Canada, which was, they called my days off, it wasn't my days off. I was busy here for the 3 weeks, just trying to get everything together to go back to Cuba for my family. So it was very busy, very busy.
Oh, I can imagine, having to cut time, between Canada and Cuba, and then work and all. So what made you decide to be an online business owner?
Well, back in around 2018 or so, I was following a couple that I know on Facebook. Now I don't know a lot about or then I didn't know a lot about social media. I was on Facebook a little bit, but I would follow them on Facebook, and I noticed something had changed for them, but I didn't know what it was exactly. They started to do some more traveling and things like that. And when I was in Canada the one time, I approached them and talked to them about it, and they never really said too much about what they were doing. So I left it at that because it was their business. And when I returned to Cuba, oh, that would have been about 2020, I guess. 2020, when I returned to Cuba, uh, I actually was still thinking about them and what they were doing. And so I actually called them from Cuba and inquired, and they kind of directed me over. I might have the story a little bit screwed up because it's so long ago, but I think they directed me over to the web page, and I watched a webinar, and then I think I called them back again and talked to them, and then I signed up because I liked what I saw, and I saw this what they were up to and the success that they were having. Even though they weren't saying that they were having all the success, I could see that something positive had changed for them, and I liked that. So during that time, it was very difficult in Cuba because of their infrastructure there for me to do a lot of this business there. So I put it to the side, and we were also trying to immigrate to Canada. Now I'm Canadian, but my wife is Cuban, so and my son is Cuban, so we had to try and get their immigration done. And I was going through all of that, and that took up a lot of my time. So between work and immigration, I was trying to get everything together to make that happen, which we did. So in November of 2021, we immigrated to Canada, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do for work then, because I told my employer at that time that I was moving to Canada with my family, and I didn't tell them I was quitting. They never talked to me about uh, work. I just assumed that I would go back to Cuba and work 5.5 months there and come back to Canada for 3 weeks. When I arrived to Canada, they offered me another position which would allow me to stay in Canada almost all the time. The bad part about that was last summer in 2023 there, they ended up having problems with their client. So the client stopped paying them, and so they ceased operations, and in turn I ended up losing my job last summer. So I had already bought into the business in 2020, so I kind of started looking at it again in September, and by December, I got back right into it, and I've been in the business since December full time. Excuse me, learning as much as I can and moving forward with the business, and I'm going to continue to do that. Even if I have to at some point in time return to the oil and gas, that's not what I really want to do. I would rather just do this, but I don't know how this is going to work for me. Everybody has different outcomes. I'm hoping that I'll succeed at this, and that's where I'm at right now, Adela.
Yeah, it's amazing. I like that, your mindset that you're going to succeed in this business and you will. And you said something that touched me. Sorry about your job loss. It just says something that there's no job security. And that breaks my heart. And I'm telling people at home now that yes, you may have a job now. Thank God for your job, but then what if you lose the job tomorrow? What is going to happen to you? So you should start thinking about that. That what next if God forbid you lose the job, and that's the beauty of this business. By the time lost his job, he already had this business and he had something that he could fall back on. And so I just want to encourage somebody tonight that think about it. What if something happens to your job? What are you going to do? And you said something again about watching a webinar. We all started from there. I remember watching the webinars. I watched it over and over again before I made my decision. And so tonight you can see our website. My website is there. Kit's website is there. Reach out to any one of us that you feel like anybody that you like their phrase. Maybe it's me, maybe it's Kit. Reach out to us. We'll give you access to the free webinar where you will learn how the pillars, of doing business, how you can start your own business. And you'll see everyday people like you and I too, doing the business, recording success, and they will tell you their journeys, and you can learn one or two things about that. Okay, so that's about that. So I want to ask, when you were about to start the business, were you scared? Were you worried? And if you were, how were you able to overcome it?
No, for me personally, I don't know that I was scared about it. I think my biggest some of the things that I've had to overcome in this has been learning everything about social media and all the apps and programs that are needed to actually run this program. uh, I had to learn all of that. So no, I'm not definitely not scared. uh, I'm a type of person that once I decide that I'm going to do something, I get in and I just do it. So I don't think about, I never thought about uh, where, how is it going to affect me negatively? Never thought about that. I'm just doing it. And I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, if I'm not successful with this, everything that I've learned doing this will always be a positive at some point in time in my future, depending on what I do after this. If, again, if I'm not successful, but I'm going to be successful, I'm going to continue working at this.
Yeah, that's the spirit. And it starts from the mind. Everything is from the mindset. You believed in it, you had the mindset that you were going to be success, and definitely you'll be successful in it. And then the beautiful thing about our community is that when I started, I wasn't so tech savvy. I could just do basic things, send email, do a few things on the internet and all. But today I can do a lot of things that that can bring me income apart from the business. That can bring me income. And thanks to that, it's just thanks to our training sites that you have. You have a lot of materials. You have a lot of to learn from because they are video based. I am a visual learner, so it was easy for me because I could, like, it's telling me do this, and I could practicalize it. So don't be scared if you're thinking that, oh, I'm not tech savvy, I don't know so much. You will be trained, and let me tell you, the training is being updated regularly, so they are not obsolete. They are real time trainings that will help you. Okay, so how has this business impacted your life?
So far, how has it impacted my life? I've been spending a lot of time just doing this. Again, the learning curve is straight up for me. I've had to, like I mentioned before, it's learning everything about this. So I've been spending most of my time doing just this. Um, but that's a positive. I've got no problems learning how to do all of this. Aside from that, I got nothing else. That's just it. I've just been learning, and I guess that's the big positive. Learning anything is good. So
Yes, and the beautiful thing is that the more you develop personally, the more you grow in your business. So it's just the right step that you're taking. Okay, so we'll soon go, but before we go, I want you to, what word do you have for dads, men that are looking at you and they want to earn income, they want to earn extra income, it's not easy taking care of the family. What advice do you have for them as they watch this and they're looking for something that they can do to earn extra income by the side?
well, I I don't know how to respond to that question. That's I'll tell you what. If you're a dad and you're married, get your wife on board to help you because there seems to be an awful lot of women doing this business with their husbands, and there's lots of women by themselves. There's very few men that are doing this, or at least that I see, that seem to be doing this by themselves. But you know, the advice to you is just get in and do it, and give it a try. It can't hurt. Give some time, and especially if you're thinking you need an extra income or multiple streams of income, this is a great place to start. And again, if it ends up not being something for you, something that you've learned, maybe you can use that in another business. You don't lose anything really at the end of the day, except for maybe some time. And that's the advice I could give.
Yeah, thank you so much. My interestingly, my mentor is a man, my coach is a man. Yes, I saw the ad of my mentor, a Jamaican living in Canada, And my mentor is a Filipino that lives in Canada. So we have a lot of men
Okay.
doing this, and then it's always very beautiful when couples can do this together. So it's like, two people, you know, pulling their strengths together and then building a future for their family. So, as you have heard, kids, just start, give it a try. And then the first step is just to watch the webinar. It's a 90 minutes video based webinar. Watch it and then you decide if this is for you or not. So, thank you so much. I've had, thank you so much, Keith. I've had an amazing 15 minutes with you. Thank you for coming to the page. And I hope I wish you success in the business. I wish myself success too. So thank you, our viewers. We appreciate you joining us this evening and have an amazing evening. Thank you so much. Bye for
Thank
now.
you, Adele. Your time.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Bye.
thank you. Yeah, bye.